Switching gears, right? Not the same age, right? But I think he might have been maybe 40, 41. And it's sparring, it's not fighting. But you saw Andre Ward lace up the gloves, get back in the ring, and spar with Terrence Crawford, right?
Right.
And the big thing about, I guess, me bringing up Andre is he's like 40, 41,
Yeah.
about maybe 5 years younger than Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is getting in the ring fighting a guy about 16 years younger than him in a professional fight. Is that too much for an Asian legend who qualifies for the Hall of Fame ballot and was able to make it because he was out for that long and then wants to come back and now try to get a
Uh,
WBC title?
yeah, I definitely think Manny Pacquiao's one of the greatest fighters ever. He put on some great performances. He fought the best of the best. Win or lose, he went in there and fought the best. But I just think this is it's a little past like, Manny's super up there in age. So um, you know, all credit to him if he goes in there and does get the job done. But I just think it's a little too much.
Is there something about this fight where Manny have seen Barrios take vulnerable or had been in vulnerable fights, right? The Abel fight, he got dropped. Even then the Maidana fight, he won pretty dominantly, but didn't look spectacular. And is there something about Mario Barrios that if he would happen to lose to Pacquiao, would you be surprised at any point?
uh, I think Barrios is actually a good fighter. So I would be surprised if he lost to Pacquiao. I mean, he does have vulnerabilities in his game, which a lot of fighters do, but Manny just I don't he don't have the same speed and power that he used to have. So, it'd be crazy if, Barrios did lose to him, but I think Barrios goes in there and gets the job done.
I mean, when you mean get the job done, like by decision, or does he put away the legend like
Now,
Sugar Ray Leonard had?
to be honest with you, I think he probably stops Pacquiao, man. Just, the age and Pacquiao not being in the ring so long. Barrios just coming off of a tough fight. I think it was last summer or something. He just fought recently, right?
Yeah, on the Tyson Jake Paul undercard.
Yeah. So him and that guy that he fought was a tough fighter, man. That was a great fight. They were going back and forth. So, a lot of people probably think Barrios is going to lose because of that last performance, but he wasn't in there with just a scrub. He was in there with a beast. And then Barrios done been in there with Tank, Keith Thurman. He been in there with some of the top guys. So he this ain't a new experience to him, fighting on a high level. So um I think he probably stopped Pacquiao, to be honest with you, just because of the age. Pacquiao 10 years ago will be saying something different, but this is maybe just 10 years too late.
Yeah, maybe even potentially Pacquiao 6 years ago, because that's when he
Yeah,
beat Thurman for
yeah.
the.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, right? Because I know Pacquiao lost to Ugas, then Ugas later fought Spence, took some damage, and then had a little layoff. Then fought Barrios, and then lost. All right, from Barrios, and that's how it came in that position. I know that that's one theory why people feel that um, Barrios will win. But you mentioned that you said you saw Pacquiao slow down and he didn't look the same. Are you basing this off some of the footage that came out or the exhibition he had with the Korean fighter? Or
Yeah, I've seen the exhibition. I mean, I'm not in his training camp, so I don't know exactly how hard he was training for that fight, but that guy is not on Barrios's level. So, and we seen what he was doing with Manny. So, we can only see what Barrios does with him.
so, and obviously, before I let you go, I know that we've spoke, I think, 3 times potentially on Crawford Canelo, but a lot of people have changed their picks a little bit based off recent stuff. But Canelo struggled, or William Skull didn't give him an opportunity, regardless of how people view it. It was not the greatest fight, but that specific fight itself made a lot of people, for some reason, pick Crawford. And before I kind of break down the details of what it could potentially be, do you agree that Crawford has a bigger winning chance against Canelo, or is it the same, just different fight, different style?
No, I think it's still the same. That fight didn't really change my opinion or outlook on the fight at all. Canelo is still a great fighter. Anybody who moves the whole entire time in front of a fighter like Canelo, Canelo's gonna have problems with him. And Canelo just really, it seemed like he couldn't get into no rhythm, all night, and he just couldn't he couldn't really do too much. But Crawford not gonna move like that. Crawford probably gonna sit there with him, and it ain't gonna be a whole bunch of moving. So I still got the same outlook and same opinion on that fight. It's gonna be a great fight. I got Bud winning, but it definitely ain't just no walk in the park like people are talking.
Is there something about, I guess, Canelo prior to the Skull fight that you were able to say, hey, I got Crawford winning, outside of now, maybe seeing, okay, Canelo might struggle with some movers, which is what people kind of had felt. But like I guess this was a very big red flag to a lot of people. And I know Skull was a big 168 Cuban style, didn't really engage, but it's just what moment and what fight in Canelo's career and Bud's career around that time where you were like, yeah, I could see Bud beating him.
Really being in it. I ain't even gonna say I seen any fights from Bud that made me think that. It was really mainly just being in the gym with him. When you got a guy who takes his craft as serious as he does, and
Hmm.
the fighters, I seen him in there with some great fighters. I ain't gonna drop their name, but I've been seen him in there with some great fighters, and like he was just in there doing his thing. So, and these are current champions now in along the weight classes that they're in. So around 160, 168, and Bud's in there really, in control, dominating. And when I see stuff like that, and I've been seeing this for years, and when I see stuff like that, it just makes me think, man, you got to be a certain type of fighter to beat Bud. And Canelo, I just feel like he's a great fighter. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't think he has what it takes to beat a fighter like Bud.
What's funny is I've actually seen him spar some super middleweight,
And
and
he's in there hurting them guys.
but the thing is interesting. Kyron Davis, I think, specified it felt like, um, well, I got this via from his trainer Breadman, but it was like he was explaining that it was like he threads like a needle through like what are those things called? It's like threading a needle. Essentially, like Crawford's able to
Pinpoint
thread
accuracy, yeah.
and hit you in these kind of like very tight, specific like spots where you don't think he's able to find a hole or crack, and he gets it in. Like, do you agree that from that
Yeah,
assessment?
for sure. The way that they work, the whole B&B team, that's the type of stuff that they work on. Like in Keyshawn's last fight when he stopped Berchank, I think that was his name. That body shot that he caught him with, you see, he caught him right on the spot, right on the button, and he knocked him out with a body shot just like that. And we see Navarrete lost to this guy, and Navarrete supposed to be one of the best fighters around them weight classes. So that just goes to show you that Bud's team is just on another level. I've been in there and worked with them as well, so I feel like the game plan that they're gonna come up with for fight night is gonna be crazy, and how they're gonna be training. Like when they train and work on the game plan, I mean they drill it. Like they work on the game plan the whole entire camp, and the way that they spar and the way that they do their sparring sessions. It's like when it comes for fight night, Bud to be 100% ready.
Yeah, no, definitely. Isn't a great team, obviously, training every year of a squad. And
Hmm.
Bowman gives credit to Red, Isao, Bernie, I mean, the whole squad.
Yeah, they got a whole squad. It's like five coaches.
And, two strength and conditioning coaches, and the list goes on. So, I guess before I let you go, when you were in these camps, right? And I know that, Terrence is probably eventually he's gearing up, trying to still solidify some stuff, but he's going to come down to Colorado Springs, I'm sure. Same tradition. Start in Vegas, UFC camp, pre-camp, and in Colorado, and then head to the fight. So throughout the times that they made their trips to Colorado Springs, and you've been around them since you were young, what is like the best advice or, the greatest, some of the greatest things that you took from talking to Terrence? Because I know on social media, there's videos and pictures of you guys, and he's praising you, giving you way in advance, saying you're next up and one of the top guys. So, what's one of the great things that he's told you that stuck with you as a turning pro or current pro in boxing right now?
um, I can't give out the free game, but I will say one thing. I ain't gonna give all the free game, but one thing that he definitely told me was, to stay focused and going there and like what I'm doing right now, finding the best prospects in the world to solidify myself early on as one of the best fighters in the world. I feel like after this tournament, I definitely will be the best prospect in boxing, and I'm gonna prove that. I'm fighting nothing but the best. It ain't really too many young fighters putting it all on the line. I'm only 19 going in there against guys that are 8-0. My next opponent, I think, is 7-0 or something like that. So all my fights is against none but top fighters. So that's some advice that Bud gave me. He said, you got all the skills in the world to go do it. So, go ahead and go dominate right now and show the boxing world early on. That's something that Bud didn't get to do early on in his career is, he had to wait till he got his shot later on in the career. Now I get to prove that I'm one of the best early on at only 19.
You know, it's kind of like a young Andre Ward because he went through that tournament, a
Hmm.
tough tournament. And this is kind of like the prospect level. I know it's not the marquee names or a whole bunch of champions, but he fought like a lot of fighters from Europe. And so you're kind of doing that in like a not championship status, but to get to a championship. And it'll
Yeah.
probably elevate your rankings insanely high by the end of all of this.
Yeah. I'll definitely be a world champion within the next 2 years.
And obviously, before I let you go, do you feel like this, opposed to the Olympics, was a better choice for your professional, I mean, your professional career?
Oh, definitely. Everything happens for a reason, and I'm glad that the due to all the politics and everything going on, I didn't go to the Olympics because this is a way better opportunity for me. And I'm thankful that I got this opportunity. Uh, it basically is the Olympics, but I'm getting paid good, and I'm not fighting every single day, taking unnecessary punishment like in the Olympics you do. You guys, they fight every single day, and when it's all said and done, people don't even care no more about really what happened in the Olympics. But like you said, you know how you remember the Andre Ward Super Six tournament. Everybody talks about that still to this day. So as a pro, this is definitely a way better fit for me than the Olympics would have been.